Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. I'm very happy that there is going to be a new prayer book specially designed for caregivers who will encounter, doubtlessly, patients from the Hindu tradition. I think that this book will also be a wonderful primer for all people who are interested in the Hindu tradition and would like to know more about it and also know how to relate to God in the tradition. In the Hindu tradition, we have a very sophisticated understanding of Ishvara, Bhagavan, which are our names for God. For us, God is not a matter for belief like many theologies. God is something to be discovered and understood as the truth of oneself. There is no separation between I and Ishvara. This is the ultimate vision, and the purpose of the human birth is to discover and assimilate this vision, which appears at the end of the Vedas, also known as Upanishads and generally as Vedanta. So what is this vision? This vision is seeing that all that is here is pervaded by Ishvara, is non-separate from Ishvara. Just like when the individual has a dream, the dream world is not separate from the dreamer. The dream world is a projection of the knowledge of the dreamer and is sustained by the dreamer. And upon its end, when it comes to an end, the dream resolves into the dreamer. So too this entire universe is a manifestation of names and forms that has come from one source, a sentient conscious being who is limitless and total and who projects this Jagat effortlessly and withdraws it back unto itself also equally effortlessly. And this is our understanding of Ishvara, that which is limitless, that which is the nameless, formless receptacle of all names and forms. All names and forms reside in this receptacle, as though receptacle, which is beyond all names and forms. So that which has forms, non-separate from Ishvara, that which has no form, also non-separate from Ishvara. So this is a very sophisticated understanding, and that is why we are not shy of names and forms. We are not shy of adoring Ishvara with names, with all kinds of names. And then also we are not shy of invoking Bhagavan, Ishvara, God, through many different forms. Because all forms are just that, one form. And so with this understanding, the whole prayer becomes a sophisticated endeavor as well, because the individual in this prayer, in this model of prayer, the individual discovers the connection to the total. This is our understanding. The individual is already related to the total, but in the prayer discovers this connection. So the prayer is of three kinds. We can have a ritualized or a physicalized prayer. We call this puja. And then we can have a verbal prayer. We call it bhajan or kirtan, where we can sing, chant, etc. Then finally we can have a mental prayer, which is we just sit and meditate. And this we call japa, recitation of a mantra, for example. So these are the three forms of prayers. Now the prayer, most of the time, what happens is that, especially because one has free will, the prayer often becomes a last minute recourse when the free will has given up, when there is nothing that one can control, when one finds that nothing is under one's control. That is when generally people resort to prayer. And this is also accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. So long as one prays, it doesn't matter the kinds of conditions that it takes for one to pray. So this helplessness is what leads one to prayer, because I cannot control anything in my life. And indeed in an individual's life, things such as chronic disease, loss, death, etc. leave one completely flummoxed as to why is it that I'm not able to overcome this situation, and that is when one resorts to prayer. Prayer is an action, as I said, and so therefore we understand that the difficulties that one is facing in one's life are also the result of past actions, called karma phala, results of past action. So therefore prayer becomes a very potent tool to override, or at best even neutralize, the effects of bad karma, wrong actions in past lives, or even in this life in the past. And so the prayer becomes an important way of having antibodies or inoculating oneself against any kinds of difficult situations that keep coming out due to past karma. So this is what it is. So I neutralize my past karma by praying and invoking Bhagavan and praying for being freed from past karma. So with this understanding, we can approach this prayer book. Thank you very much. Om. One of the very popular manifestations where the prayer is directed is called Lord Ganesha. Ganesha is seen as the universal dispeller of all obstacles, and so we begin the prayer book also very appropriately with a prayer for Ganesha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Make all my endeavors free of obstacles, O Lord Ganesha, with the bent trunk, big-bodied one. May all my works be free. You who has the effulgence of 1,000 suns. That is the meaning of this prayer. Another important manifestation is Lord Shiva. The word Shiva means that which is auspicious. So this, unto this auspiciousness, this form which is auspicious, whose very form, the coolness of whose form tells us something about our own nature, that which is asanga, free of all involvements, that which is capable of taking one to the goal of moksha, the truth of one's own self, that is known as Lord Shiva. The one who frees from death is also Lord Shiva. So the next prayer is for Lord Shiva. Om Karpura Gauram Karunavataram Samsarasaram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantam Hridayaravinde Bhavam Bhavani Sahitam Namami. The next prayer is for Lord Vishnu. Vyapnoti iti Vishnu, the one who is all pervasive, is Vishnu. So Vishnu is an important manifestation of Ishvara in the Hindu tradition, and the following prayer is dedicated to Lord Vishnu, which says that the one who is peaceful to look at, the one who is lying on a coiled serpent in the primal waters of creation, the one who has a lotus holding Lord Brahma emerging from his navel, the one who is the Lord of all lords, the one who frees from the fear of samsara, a life of becoming, a life of insecurity, sorrow and pain, the one who is the Lord of everything that there is. Shantakaram bhujagashayanam padmanabham suresham Vishwadharam gaganasadrisham meghavarnam shubhangam Lakshmikantam kamalanayanam yogibhirdhyanagamyam Vande Vishnum bhavabhayaharam sarvalokaikanaatham. In the Hindu tradition, since all forms resolve in that which is formless, which is Bhagavan, it also includes the female form. We do not say that God is a he. God is both she and he. That which is she and he is not outside of God, but that which we call God transcends gender. This is what it is. So we feel free enough in the Hindu tradition to invoke God in the female form. And in India, there is a great following for the feminine worship of Shakti, seeing the power of Bhagavan manifest in the universe, and that power is invoked as the Mother Goddess or Shakti. And the following is a prayer devoted to the Mother Goddess. Om Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matra Rupena Samsthita Namastasyai 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 Namo Namaha. My repeated salutations unto that Mother Goddess whose embodiment is present as motherly love in the entire universe. The next prayer is called the Gayatri. The Gayatri is actually the name of a meter, a Vedic meter which has 24 syllables. But here the Gayatri is also the name of the prayer devoted to the Lord in the form of Bharga. Bharga means the one who burns up all kinds of papas, omissions and commissions, the one who burns up hurt and guilt, the one who burns up all the karmas is called Bharga. And this Bharga is invoked as the one who is as resplendent as the sun, which is the same as one's own mind, and this mind which is self-effulgent, this eye that is self-effulgent, that shines in the mind, is equated to this Bharga. And the prayer is a collective prayer. And in this prayer, the request is made to Bharga, Bhagavan, in the form of the one who is resplendent, who burns up the notion that one is a doer, the notion of doership and bhoktritvam, experiencership. The one who feels culpable is decimated, leaving in its wake one who is free of all papa. And so this Bharga is requested by the child who is taken for the first time to the Vedic studies by all the children. Please help me make the correct decisions. Dhiyaha naha prachodayat. Naha dhiyaha prachodayat. Please impel our minds, our buddhis, our intellects to make the right decision at all times. This is a Vedic prayer, so it will have certain swaras, notations that go up and down, and it's not an option to chant it in any way that we like. So it has to follow the particular intonations. Om Bhur Bhuvassuvaha तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। The next two prayers are also devoted to the mother form. One is to the mother goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance, prosperity, happiness, and total freedom from any kind of want, at least in the material world. And this goddess is a very popular incarnation in India and is prayed to by everybody. And then in this prayer also is the other popular incarnation, Saraswati. And Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge. So between the two of them, Mother Lakshmi and Mother Saraswati, they take care of all the human pursuits, both the material and the spiritual. And a child that is being reared in the Hindu tradition is asked to invoke these two forces as soon as a child wakes up. This is the first prayer upon waking. So it is devoted to Mother Lakshmi, Mother Saraswati, and finishes with the remembrance of Govinda. Govinda means the one who is found in words, another name for Krishna or Lord Vishnu. So these are the deities or the incarnation that the child is told to remember the first thing upon waking, because as soon as one wakes up, one is asked to look at one's hands. Karagre vasate Lakshmihi. May I know that Lakshmi, Mother Lakshmi, the goddess of abundance, resides on the tips of my fingers. Karamadhye tu Saraswati. May I also see that in the middle of my hand is Saraswati. So the tips of my fingers, which strive for abundance, is backed by wisdom, knowledge. Then Karatale tu Govinda. The Govinda resides in the palms of my hand. They are the backdrop for all my actions. So may Bhagavan bless my hands, which are my karmendriya, with which I greet the world, which are the organs of action. May they bless them with the presence of these incarnations, so that anything that I touch, is the touch of Bhagavan, is the touch of abundance, is the touch of knowledge, of wisdom. So this is the prayer. Karagre vasate Lakshmihi, Karamadhye Saraswati, Karamule tu Govindaha, Prate Karadarshanam. And the next prayer is also upon waking, chanted upon waking. As soon as the feet touch the ground, this is also something that the child is taught. As soon as the feet touch the ground, may I tread lightly today upon Mother Earth. May I not be a burden to her. And may she forgive all the wrong steps that I take, both literal and figurative. Wrong steps that I take in life. May she forgive that for me. Om Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Pada Sparsham Kshamaswame. Samudra Vasane Devi Parvatastana Mandale Vishnu Patni Namastubhyam Pada Sparsham Kshamaswame. The next prayer is also a Vedic mantra for Lord Shiva. And it is a very potent mantra, a very potent prayer. And this prayer is chanted for illness, for difficulty in letting go, and also sometimes at the time of death. It helps the person to leave the body with grace, dignity, and integrity. It also helps in times of difficulty, mental, physical, emotional, to chant this 11 times a day or as many times as one can. We adore the three-eyed one, says the prayer, the one whose fragrance has spread all over the universe. Please help me let go, like even a pumpkin or a cucumber is released from its vine as it ripens painlessly. So too free me from death, but not from immortality. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanan Mrityormukshigamaamritaat. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanan Mrityormukshigamaamritaat. Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardanam Urvarukamiv Bandhanan Mrityormukshigamaamritaat. The next prayer is also a Vedic prayer, a general prayer, universal prayer for gaining guidance in life. Lead me from asat to sat, from unreal, that which is unreal, from the non-reality to reality. Take me to the truth. Lead me from tamas, from the darkness of ignorance, to the light. Lead me from death of samsara to recognizing that I am beyond this body-mind-sense complex, that the I is truly immortal. Om asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma amritangamaya. The next one, prayer, is for universal well-being. May all beings be happy. May they see only the good in everything. May they be free from all kinds of affliction and sorrow. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. And another Vedic prayer, an important prayer, is a Shanti mantra, which says the cause is total, whole, limitless. The so-called effect, the Jagat, which is this manifest reality, is also the whole. When you take away this whole from that which is the cause does not suffer, and neither does the effect. It is all limitlessly, non-divisibly whole, indivisible whole. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The next prayer is also a Shanti mantra, very difficult to chant, and as I said, the Vedic chanting has to have the swaras in place. So I'm going to read it because it will be quite potent even to read it. Om Dyauhu Shantihi Antarikshagam Shantihi Prithvi Shantihi Apash Shantihi Oshadhayas Shantihi Vanaspatayas Shantihi Vishve Devas Shantihi Brahmas Shantihi Sarvas Shantihi Shantireva Shantihi Sama Shantiredhi. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. The next two verses are from the Bhagavad Gita, shlokas from the Bhagavad Gita, with which this prayer book concludes. And they are important shlokas because they reveal the nature of the self as free of death and as not subject to any kind of destruction. The first shloka says that the Atma is that which is born the body, mind, sense complex, even as one wears a set of clothes. Just as easily, the Atma discards this set of clothes, as it were, and frees itself from the body, mind, sense complex. And this is the vision of the Bhagavad Gita in terms of the reincarnation of the jiva, who keeps on taking new bodies until one's quest for seeing the truth of oneself is not complete. One keeps being reincarnated. That is our belief. Once I know that I am this Atma that is free of all pain and sorrow, there is no need to take birth again, because the purpose of the human birth has been fulfilled. The second verse shows the nature of the Atma as free of destruction from all sources, all forces, like water, fire, space and air. So I will chant them together. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grinhati naroparani तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि नैनं छिन्दन्ति शस्त्राणि नैनं दहति पावकः न चैनं क्लेदयन्त्यापः न शोषयति मारुतः ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ